Hello and welcome again to another episode of Dave Trippin, and this is part 2 of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and the people have spoken, and Dean and I have listened, so we're going to try and get a little closer to the mic. We've messed around with all the audio settings, and so if there continues to be an issue with the sound, please don't hesitate to comment, but we're hoping that it's sorted out now. So Dean's going to jump in here, answering the first question, just right where we left off in the email before, and it says, in your schools, what is your impression of how the students view you as a member of the faculty? Just an interesting person there to help them learn English? I recall a story Dean told about a student grabbing his crotch. Would they ever do something like that to a member of the Japanese faculty? No,
they wouldn't.
I tend to think they wouldn't. You're right. What level of respect do you feel you receive as an ALT from the students? Dean.
Okay. So obviously I work at elementary and junior high. So I'll start with the junior high first, because I think that's more pertinent to the question.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically you are I personally feel, I mean, other people feel free to share your opinion, but I personally feel that I'm just there to teach them English. They don't necessarily view me as a member of staff. But that being said, I am, I still get my Ohayou gozaimasu and my, konnichiwa whenever they come into the teacher's room. I still get them bowing to me at the beginning and the end of every lesson.
Yeah.
So, they always have to they can't just walk past me, basically. If we're walking past each other in the hall, they have to say hello to me or acknowledge my existence. But other than that, really, I can't say I said they treat me with almost like a kind of forced respect. So
that's in the junior high.
With the junior high.
Okay.
Whereas in the elementaries, I would say that not necessarily respect. It's more just kind of like being Genki little fucks.
Yeah.
So
yeah, very Genki.
You're viewed more as especially with the real young kids that are there, like a plaything. So you're just like this foreign plaything. So they jump on you and try and grab your legs and stuff.
And they haven't learned a lot of bias at that age too. They don't know what prejudice is yet. I mean,
absolutely, yeah. So I would just say that, and obviously it all depends. Everyone's got a different situation. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How is that? This is probably worth saying. Not all Eikaiwas. Remember that he's going to when he answers this question. When I'm going to ask how. How did you think that compares then to the Eikaiwa? But be aware this is a specific company, so it may vary from Eikaiwa, because Eikaiwa just means a private language school. Yeah, so you could be highly prestigious, you could be at a rookie mill where they're just churning through teachers. Yeah. But what's your thoughts?
A lot less respect, absolutely. Because like I say, I get that forced kind of respect. In the particular Eikaiwa that I used to work for, I was the only teacher in the classroom. And I would get respect from the younger kids, but then coming up to the older kids, they just wouldn't. They just flat out ignore me. Like, who are you? You're not my sensei, kind of
foreign
thing.
devil.
So yeah, in the Eikaiwas, it was considerably worse for myself.
Okay, I'll talk about it a little bit now. In my schools, just try to make the point that every experience is different. I've had it vary right down to the classes. So I guess the grand answer can be that it comes so individually by teachers, by school, then by class. Because at one of my schools, I get an incredible amount of respect, and this is narcissistic maybe to share the story, but a lot of the kids now, even if it's kind of a joke, they all go, I love you, and it's half joking, but we have a good relationship that makes them comfortable to say something like that. And even the teachers asked me, they were like, is that okay? Are you comfortable with them saying that? And I was like, hell yeah, I am. It means that unless they're truly mocking me, which they don't seem to be, they're friendly in the classes, that it's just out of a genuine like for me, and they have respect for me. But I chalk that up to the class, because I've spent a lot of time with those kids. They were always great, and it continues to be great. So if you get into a good school, the kids are going to respect you, provided you're not a douchebag. I mean, of course, too, they can pick up on that. Even good kids are going to be turned off by the fact that somebody's come in and is really fake or really difficult with them. So, create the best impression that you can, and you'll probably reap what you sow. You're going to have good response to that. But point still stands what Dean was saying, that especially in an eikaiwa where you're left alone and they're maybe a little younger in some situations, they don't have that pressing them to be so polite.
And also, 9 times out of 10, well, maybe not 9 times out of 10, but well, actually, yeah, it probably is. They're there because their parents want them to be there. I mean, who wants to go to an after-school language club on top of the after-school activities that they've already been doing, the full day of school they've been doing, you know, and who wants to do an 8:30 to 10 juku or ikai, whatever you want to call it. You know, they're not there via their own free will.
Yes.
You know, they're there because mummy and daddy are paying for them to be there.
Yes.
So naturally, you're going to get some resistance there.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay, so I will start the next one. The next question is, if I can find it quickly. I keep moving this thing along. Sorry for that. Okay, this is very near and dear to my heart. This one. A reoccurring theme I've noticed in the book is how eikaiwas and contractors, such as Interac, the company we currently work for, often place teachers under a 29.5-hour week contract.
Yes.
When this is done, the teacher is considered part-time. This part-time status enables companies to withhold employee benefits like enrollment into national pension and social insurance. Oftentimes, more often than not, from what I understand, teachers reportedly work quite a bit over the time specified in the contract. Therefore, they should be considered a full-time employee. Have you had any experience or heard anything from teachers concerning this 29.5 hours? I don't need to hear it from people. I can experience firsthand, and it's absolute bullshit and one of my biggest criticisms of the company. Again, going in blind, not being totally aware of this, it is something they do. And it's completely wrong, and they shouldn't do that. And yeah, you're guilty for the fact that when you went in, they say, oh yeah, so you're going to have mostly like some free time on these days, and you're okay with that, right? And you're in a blur, you've just arrived to Japan, and you're like, okay, yeah, I guess I was already agreeing to this when I came over, I guess. I didn't know it, which is partly your own fault, but sort of predatory employment, if you will. And they do that. And I can only speak for Interact, but I would ask that. That's something I wish I could tell every single ALT that came over. When you get hired by one of these companies, you say, when you say I work how many hours a week, how many hours does that translate to at the school? Yeah. And will you help support and subsidize my health insurance when I come over? Because it's a big ass chunk of money. It's another
in the second year.
In the second year, not in the first year, of course. You don't notice it, but then if you stay, you get impacted by it. That's a good point, actually. Because maybe some of these bigger ones don't do that, but I really felt the lack of my education and awareness impacting me in the second year when I was like, wait a sec, this really, really matters. I wish somebody had made that clear. And now when I've spoken to other companies, when I haven't been sure, because at first I didn't know that was like an actual obligation that these companies have. I was like, do you guys help subsidize my healthcare? And they almost looked at me strangely because they were like, of course we do. If you're full-time, that's illegal if we don't. And I was like, well, that's the situation I'm in now.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's and is it the same at Pepe's?
What's that?
Do they subsidize your
No,
help?
they don't. No, they're the same. You work like they like finagle it so that it's like, is that even a word? Finagle? They
finagle.
Finagle.
Yeah.
They finagle it. So that you work like just under, but with Pepe's you have to arrive to the classroom like an hour before, so you don't get paid for that, but you have to arrive an hour before. So again, if you have if you're working 6 days in a week like I was, that's an extra 6 hours, which equates to a whole nother day. They get, you know, in terms of classes that you're teaching, that's over a day's worth of time that you're giving back to the company for free. It don't count towards your health benefits.
Yes.
So in essence, you're working well over the 29.5 in both cases, whether you're in the public school system or not. I would say maybe the only is like, to use Chopper as an example. Yeah. With his elementary schools, he didn't have the had the Undokais, but he didn't have the speech contest, and that's obviously, as we found out last year, that's quite big.
But yeah, and so just use that to empower yourself, that when you speak to these companies when you're coming over, Because maybe some of them do, not to blacklist everybody.
No.
You've heard from Peppy Kids and Interac that this is something shisty that they're going to do to you. And also, like we just mentioned, if you were intending only to come here for a year,
It's piss.
who cares, right?
Yeah.
Because it won't impact you. But if you're staying longer, then you should absolutely know, and everyone should just know that in the first place.
Yeah.
Because we spend around 40 hours a week at the schools.
Yeah.
Because we don't
easy.
leave
Yeah,
with our,
easy.
if not more than that, because you're helping with speech contests, you're helping with chorus contests.
And it's looked down upon as well. I know certainly in my school, like, if I was to leave bang on time, oh, by the way, I'm gone, this isn't the West. It's like, people are obligated to stay an extra half an hour, and,
Yes.
So...
Okay, so moving along, because it's actually remarkable how long this is getting. This is going to be.
Wow.
I'll give this to you. Maybe I
Right.
can say two things. Are there any kind of bonuses for re-signing a contract with Interact or other companies that you know of? I understand you asked for a raise and they gave you a marginal, at best, one to appease you. Or just, can you speak about bonuses at all for any reason with any company? Dean.
Personally, I haven't been with Interact long enough to be able to know the ins and outs. So you'd have to ask Dave on that. Dave can cut in.
Okay.
But I know I know with the Kaiwa, they gave you, with completion of the year's contract, if you decided to go home, they would give you like 20,000 towards your plane ticket home. And then they would also give you 100,000 yen bonus at the end of completion. So pretty much like $1,000 bonus.
So that's
yeah, it was alright. Can't be sniffed at.
No, it can't.
So
And
but no other bonuses, for like working extra or like having to cover people. So just that 12-month contract bonus.
So this can be, when the title of this is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, absolutely this is a good thing. A lot of companies do the bonuses. Interact doesn't, but like you've just said, even Peppy Kids Club, which is one of these huge ones, they do. So you can come across those bonuses, and many of the jobs that I've looked at that are of the smaller company variety on Gaijin pots.
And the main reason they do it? The main reason they do it is because there's such a high turnover of staff in this country.
Yes.
That they need something to try and get you to stay a minimum of 12 months. Because a lot of these, guys are, I'll do 6 months here, 8 months there. Keep moving along. So,
but there'll be bonuses. Some of the companies have built-in percentage raises if you get in with a good one. If we don't want these videos to come off overly negative.
No.
We want you to see the whole picture, and the whole picture is not wholly negative. There's lots of good pay structures and bonus structures that exist across a lot of the companies. That exists.
I think as well is that the fact that we make these videos, the fact that we're still out here.
Yeah.
He's been out here for what, 3 years now? Two and a half years, coming up 3 years. So, obviously, when you think, oh shit, it's just going to be hell. No, it's not. It's over. The majority of it is great. It's an unbelievable experience, and irrespective of how crappy the companies are.
But that's a separate video. So, we can do it. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. We can make a video if you want where we just talk about all the good things, because that could take up a whole ton of time, because it's like from the work days, from the amount of days off that you get, from the the return that you get, in terms of job quality, just working with some of the great students. There's a lot of good things. But this is for this, which regrettably a lot of it is negative, but it's good to have your eyes open to it. Okay, moving along. Let's see, concerning leave days.
So that's vacation, basically.
Yeah,
right?
The author states, under the law, Article 39 requires workers are given 10 paid days with an additional day for every year in service, only allowed if employee has been continuously employed for 6 months or more. How many do you receive? Are these inclusive with your sick days? When you take sick leave, is it deducted from your annual leave days? Do you want to go with that one, Dean, for that, or shall I?
I know that when I started working for Interac, they gave me 5 paid work or 5 paid vacation days.
Okay.
But I'm not fully. I know that, for instance, I use that for my vacation, but
you also have the planned vacation days into the summer.
Yes, yeah.
So you do.
Which is a bit shysty in a way, because
that you don't get to choose.
You don't choose.
And they do it for you. But you do get those days off, and here's another good thing that can go in if you're working for one of these dispatch companies that's in the public school system. I've made videos about this before. The number of days off that you get because of national holidays,
National holidays.
is incredible. If you're working for a major dispatch company in the public school system, you will have more days off than you probably have in your entire life.
Career,
And not only that, you get these other things with the larger dispatch, or at least with Interac. This is another good, when we speak of the three facets here, is work days.
Oh, work days.
Amazing work days they are, yes.
amazing.
It's just a day. It says work day, but unless they call you in the morning by 10 o'clock, you don't have to do anything that day, and it's a paid day. So I have had also more than any, well, I've never had this in any other job in my life. I've had paid work days where I'm just making exactly what I would have on that day, but I get to do whatever I want. So there's a positive note to maybe end on, because I think we've kind of arrived at the end of this thing here. Okay, last one, a general question from the email. Okay, I asked you if badminton was popular in Japan, and you said you saw people playing it at the gym all the time. That said, are there badminton clubs in middle high schools in Japan?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Well done, Dean.
I actually, that's one of the only after school club activities that I actually do at the junior high school. I do badminton club. So
yeah. How are they?
Yeah, they're pretty damn good.
Yeah, I bet.
So I've actually beaten them a couple of times though.
Really?
So, yeah, because I used to play a bit. So
okay.
Yeah.
They didn't see you coming.
No. White lightning.
Yeah, white lightning.
White lightning.
Awesome. Okay, so there we go. We did this one a little quicker than the last one. Please do, if you have any questions about teaching in Japan, this is the first video you found us on, please do like, subscribe, share, comment, all those good things everybody else asks for. Really appreciate it. It supports the channel. The like is the only way that we know that you like these particular type of videos.
Yes.
Get a hold of us in the contact down below, or the comments directly if you have any kind of questions that you want answered. I always put my email down there. And I don't think I got anything else to add. We are having the Great Natto Race of 2015 this week. So
Friday, right? Isn't
Friday, yep. So tune in to see us retch and barely able to keep the natto down if you're excited to see that kind of
Are we allowed to
thing.
have it on rice?
No.
Fuck.
Straight natto.
Straight up natto.
So tune in next time for that. Peace.
Peace.